Hey neighbor, just come on in. Welcome to Opposition Racing. It's a little bit of a mess, I know. This is our playland. This is what it looks like when a group of friends come together with a shared passion, over a decade of passion for motorsports, drifting, racing, all things to do cars, specifically a lot of the import side of it. And you know, we all kind of have our different walks in life. We do what we do and come together, and this is what happens. So it's a little different than your normal shop business going on. We're more structured towards the race operations, and more of the day-to-day stuff we do around here, it's basically just me and Dave when he gets off work. And obviously our other Matt is not even in this state, he's in Vegas. So everything in here, for the most part, about 90% of it is owned by us. It's all shop cars. This is a 350Z 2J that's coming together. We have Dave's IS300, also 2J'd. That's getting a re-chassis. We have a SR coupe, makes about 400 horse. Another SR coupe, 400 horse. And then you'll see a couple more things here as we walk around. But yeah, we just invest all the time we got, all the money we have and resources, and we kind of just each throw a wrench, focus where we can both always benefit the team. Obviously with my background, I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. So my knowledge is in a lot of the execution of this stuff. And obviously we do utilize partners, and which are just friends that grew into family over those years, like Patience Metal Fab, Divulge Motorsports. So it's a couple key partners that help us out really closely with tuning and some of the high-end fab work we want done, as we have a fab area that's not done yet. So everything's still coming together here. You know, we got to get installation. It's still cold. Get 2-3 more lifts in here. So it's growing, but this is just kind of like the beginning stages, which I can't even say that honestly because it's taken us 20 years to get here, at least a decade of straight focusing on this solely. So yeah, we can dive right into it. We're gonna start here. We got this 350Z. So this has got basically a mild built JZ. The interesting thing about this bottom end package is it was actually the bottom end we started clutch kickers with this year with our new turbo setup, or actually the old turbo setup, but it was making too much horsepower, and the ramping was way too harsh for stock rods, and made great power, made almost 800, 850, but after that one event we decided that we were going to save this bottom end for something a little less horsepower, less strain, and we opted to put our high compression motor in, which, as you know, blew up that next round. We'll go into that in another video. So this is the bottom end. We know it's good. It's basically a GTE assembled bottom end, fresh bearings, ARPs. The head is mildly built. I think it has 256s in it, some very mild cams, springs, and a GTX 3582. So this car is basically going to also go on a Link Fury with the Link Strata display. We have the CD009 transmission with the Collins adapter, and you know, this car is going to essentially be set up to make 500-600, no more than, I'd say no more than 650 tops. So it'll actually be in that 500 to 600 range, very modest, but more than enough. And we'd actually already purchased Wise Fab full suspension kit for this. So this is on the Wise Fab angle kit here in the front, and we have the Brembos, and we also have the Wise Fab kit in the rear. This is all sort of just coming together now. Just got the car back from paint and powder, or blasting and then paint. So this is kind of a different thing, but we didn't have a dash for this car, but we had two of these HGK fiberglass dashes for S13. So we decided to utilize what we have and fit it into a Z, which fits decently well. Has little gaps here and there, but it's different. See your standard pullback e-brake. This will have the radiator in the back. So it's out right now because we are putting the radium surge in between this firewall, which will have a plate here, the radiator with the fans, and the water pump in the back here, and then we have hard lines that'll go to the front. So this one will stay on a Z diff, again, low horsepower, not a dog box, very mild, but yet should be really competitive, pretty much all the way up until even pro spec ranks. Obviously it doesn't have a stock column in it right now, which it's set up for, but this car is designed to be more going to be a demo, fun car, something, you know, Matt, myself, Dave, one of us, or another partner or group, somebody in the group that wants to drive, or one of our sponsor partners. We have these around so that other people can enjoy them at times. This is Dave's old IS300. So the car ran, everything's good this year, but we decided his car had taken a hit to the front, so it's a little out of straight, to the extent where he's had this a couple years and he wanted to do a new fresh chassis. So we got him a new chassis, and we're going through the process right now of getting it prepped identical in a sense. So we're gonna swap everything over to this chassis. We're waiting on a cage kit for this, then that'll get caged. We just got all his subframe bushings in, PBM bushings, and he's got all the FIGS engineering suspension components. So also JZ with a CD009. So that's a very competitive, I think he was making about 800 horsepower in that. So that is where this chassis comes into play. As you can see, we're just getting that. We got it ready to get blasted. So now that's the next step, to get blasted and then painted. So here's the motor out of Dave's. This is built to, but he has stock rods. So we took this out to basically, we're gonna do rods in his motor, new rings, rods and bearings, refresh those. And that'll be good then for the power he's making. This is actually our FD car Pro package motor, built by Millennium Motorsports. It is 1.5J, 264 cams, CP pistons, I-beam rods. We ran this started around 3 clutch kickers after we had blown that high compression motor I mentioned, and ran it the whole rest of the season without a hitch, really. So this motor was actually meant for the pro cars, but because we blew the motor that was in the, what we call the Thrasher, the gold car for 14, we ran this, basically went through, fine-tuned it, made sure the package was going to work for 2022. And now that we have that assurance that this thing has just been a great package, I went through, took it all disassembled. This year we had a stock water pump on it with a front radiator, because our car, the gold car, is really, I'll run you through that here in a bit, but that's very realistic build in the sense of it's got a front radiator, fans in front, it's got, you know, stock the stock power steering pump, and everything was essentially, you know, nothing super racy. We had a dog box in its side shift, but it has an R200 GTR diff, so not even a quick change in that car. But as you see, we've upgraded to the Rad Industries water pump deletes, as well as the, oh man, I'm losing it, but this is a secondary tension idler bracket, sold by Powerhouse Racing. So that'll take any tension out of the belt, and being these motors, we're gonna go ahead and put dual valve springs in them in the off season to be able to get a little more revs without any float issues. We opted for the secondary tensioner, so I went ahead and trimmed in the cover to fit that. We'll get a new belt on, we'll get all the springs in. This one's gonna get cleaned up. There's actually 2 of these motors. The other one is currently with the #1 Pro chassis in Minnesota right now at Patience Metal Fab, getting the final fab work done, and that will be the exhaust system, the front bracketry to hold some of the headlights and stuff, the intercooler piping, the radiator routing. So being we're not set up for fab yet, and being that is a very long-term partner / friend of ours that we work really closely with, really stoked to be able to get him involved in our project directly with some of their fab work. So that chassis will give you some tidbits of, but that's where the other engine is, in that engine bay with all the mock-up, getting basically 2 of everything done because we have 2 identical 14s for Pro. I'll run you through the other one that's back here full of junk, but not junk, but money. But that's what this one's gonna be going in, is number 2. So this is gonna get prepped. The other one looks identical. And when the other chassis starts coming together here in the next month or so, when I get back from the holidays, you'll start seeing more of the 2 what I like to call the white girls. The white chassis, and they bad. So that's what's going on with the Pro package and Dave's IS. And back here, we have a local. A lot of the Colorado's locals know this car. But yeah, really cool dude, Eric. He just kind of had to get that moment of life where he's taking a break. And being that I kind of been around this for a long time, ran into him back in 2011 when I first came out to Colorado, had an SR. He reached out to me, and me and the team decided it was something we wanted to get our hands on and need some work. It's kind of a little stuff. A few things are outdated, but we, couldn't pass that up. So this one's a fully built SR, top mount GT30. It's pretty basic. Had some PVM drop spindles, front and rear, stance coils. Actually, the funny fact about this car is I actually sold him the 300ZX transmission and the ORC single plate clutch that's in this car came out of my 2012/13 S13. So my hatch, if you ever remember that black hatch with the neon yellow, we'll cut to that for you. But this is the actual drivetrain I used when I competed in my hatch 13 with an SR. So it's kind of crazy, full circle, how things make it back to you if you stick around long enough and you're serious. But so we reacquired that, and we're gonna get this car swapped over from, we have this one's on a Haltech Elite, and we're gonna switch to put this one on a Haltech because I think it was on a Mega Squirt something. It has had some coil wires with some coil box and a crank trigger wheel setup. So we're gonna go out with all that stuff, go back to the cam angle sensor, stock pulley, and put this on the Haltech Elite and get it tuned and potentially have some tandem fun with the 2 coupes, but then get this one into the hands of another driver to enjoy. And meantime, simultaneously, well, yes, I am doing all of this at once. It might be a little messy, but it's a little hard to keep all this structured. This is our coupe, street car, so I'd say that's more the track car. It's caged. This one is, we call it the street coupe. So this one's not a built SR, nothing crazy, but it has been resealed. It has a one-off JDM manifold, kind of some parts I pulled out of my parts bin. We have the GK Tech fan here with the shroud, so no electric fans on this. GTX 2871 with the external gate option housing, so it still gives that good sound that you like to hear with the gate dumping. We got the Blitz oil cooler set up on this. This one also has a BR exhaust out of the collection. So this is a lot of like these little JDM parts I've collected over the years. Origin 70s front, so it's got the wide body. We're gonna probably put it on some GTCs for show, street, track, just kind of have fun with practice car, something we can come out local, shred with everybody. But being that this one's coming off Haltech, we are gonna put this one as well on a Link Fury with the display. So if you kind of notice the trend around here is everything's kind of going, we're all going Link. I've had Link in the past, and it's just something where my other friend Matt had a bunch of Haltechs, so that's what we've been using. But we really like the Link and the parameters of it. Just, Steve at Divulge really enjoys tuning them, so we're switching everything over to those. This one's set up, same thing. They both make about the same, so this is a bottom mount turbo SR stock, but it makes about 400 horsepower. And the one with the top mount turbo, same thing, still makes about 400 horse. So they're very equal, but this one has a CD009 trans versus that one is a Z32, so 5-speed versus 6-speed. But again, stock diffs, stock 6-bolt axles, nothing crazy. This one I have on what I like to call my OG special angle kit. Let me see if I can get it up in there for you.
my OG angle setup. These are Driftworks. If you guys have been around a while, these are Driftworks drop spindles. Basically the version 1s back when they dropped these in like 2011 or 12 or something, with some modified S14 front control arms and an FDF front tension arm. So this still has the rack move forward, so this thing still gets more angle than you'd ever need. It's really smooth, it's got good dynamics. I actually love the feel of these style kits. They just keep it simple. And in the back here, you're gonna see we also have, tying in with the Driftworks, that same era theme, we have these Driftworks. These are the Driftworks collaboration with Fab version 3 drop spindles. So we have those with the PBM Z32 brakes, and between that, this one has a stock fuel tank as well. But we do have a Radiant Surge in this car's too. So this one's got a little bit of the fuel upgrades to keep things safe for the power level. Yeah, so this one will get finished up as well as the other two. So these two coupes will get finished, painted. One of them will likely get sold just because, you know, there's so many cars around here that we constantly question which ones we're gonna sell or get rid of. This the light to turn on. So this, don't take it for, you know, face value right now. Didn't have time to clean the stuff out of it, but this is essentially what the other Pro chassis looks like. They are identical. So we have the bank cross members, new racks, built by JS60. The front tube section that drops in and bolts is in Minnesota because he's making, basically since they're two identical chassis, we're having patients fab up two of everything. So 2 downpipe systems, 2 exhausts, 2 intercooler piping setups, 2 front, you know, headlight holder, hood hinges, everything in the front here, we're having them do 2 times them for the fab, so we can get all the fab done for both of these cars without having to take both the cars somewhere. So once the other car comes back from Minnesota in January, this one will as well have a lot of the parts to start it coming together as well as the other one. So these two white girls is gonna come together at the same time. And that will be very exciting because we're stoked. These are all set up on the new billet FDF kits. These are actually the version 1s, like probably his first run of billet, as we work really close with them to help that kind of come to fruition. We got the Feel 442s with the remote reservoirs on both cars, so everything's kind of up to date with the competitive level of what everyone else is running. Just one of those crazy things. Having done this for coming up on 20 years that I've been around drifting in 240s, and 2022 will be the first year that not only myself, but everyone involved with the team will have access and be able to drive a car at the level of, you know, fully built motor, 800, 900 horsepower, GSR dog box, as well as quick change differential. This car didn't have a quick change. The 2 white cars will have quick changes. So that's a level of adjustability and fine tuning that I've never been able to play with, have access to on track to, you know, give me any more competitive edge. You know, I think one of the last rounds of clutch kickers, I was always maxing out second gear, trying to max out my wheel speed. And come to find out, the guy I lost to, Alec, he had his quick change dialed to basically second gear was running up into the 95 mile an hour for him. And our second gear was topped out at 68. So if you watch clutch kickers, and, you know, I'm having known that at the end, kind of knowing that, it's like you fight and you fight and you fight and you want to win and you want to be competitive to the sense where you know that if you're going to lose, you don't lose to something. So it's a frustration to have, but to know that we won't have that, you know, Achilles heel, we'll have the same level of adjustability everyone else will have, is just like, we're all stoked. Like, just as much as this might be shocking you guys looking at all this shit while I'm talking about it, it still shocks me, it still shocks us, you know. Yeah, we're spending all the money to keep doing this stuff, but every day it's still
cool, like sick, still cool, still the next coolest part. There's still progression. We're still pushing towards the next best thing, getting better, driving better, being able to drive with each other. So yeah, we were all stoked about everything to come and everything we're gonna be able to show you guys with all these cars and projects. This one, everyone, you know this car. This is the good old Thrasher, AKA the Gold member. It's done me so well that you guys have seen in clutch kickers and around the scene in the last 2-3 years. This car, again, it is we call it the Thrasher, and all of us in the team have driven it. It's one of those cars that we kind of set up. It's complex, but it's simple. You know, we have the FDF steel angle kit. Now, pardon me, we haven't been able to get this washed because we don't have water down here at the shop yet. So it's been cold. We're trying to find a nice day to get it out, take it to the car wash. But the FDF kit, we have Neo coils on this. Again, it had the radiator, just a triple pass radiator in the front, stock power steering pump, oil cooler, power steering cooler, very standard, simple stuff. Stock brake booster, which we run in all our cars. I'm not a fan of manual brakes. I don't preach manual brakes. If they work for you, congratulations, good for you. I also, if you notice, we don't have a sway bar on our car. Something I've gotten away with not needing. I'm not gonna open my mouth and run it too much as if I know that that's the fact of what it's gonna work out forever. Because again, with the level of competition we're moving towards and the adjustability they have in their cars, it might be something where we find the limits to our setup and we might have to add a sway bar. It's not something I'm opposed to, but until I think that I need it, you know, I've always driven a car with no sway bar, and regardless of what everyone says about the front end feel and losing the front end, to me, if you always commit to angle in your transitions, you can't lose the front end. If you lose the front end, something either breaks, you didn't have good grip in your tires, or the track was surface was wet, some other issues there. But front end security is a matter of commitment. If you commit to your angle, your front end's gonna go where you want it to. If you question where you're going, that's where you can get wishy, and your front end, you might lose it. So, sorry, but your sway bar preaching is folklore. I beat all your favorite drivers on sway bars. But you know, you never know. You never know. Keep your mind open. That's how I like to think. So, between that stuff, this thing has a stock fuel tank, stock saddle tank. We run a radium surge as well with 2 in the surge. So this has got all the back cut out of it. Simple stuff, stock fuel tank, radium surge, 1 lift to the surge, 2 in the surge. The battery, we run the FDF billet rear kit as we were testing that out to get our settings for the white cars, because these are all very identical. This one had a G-Force G101 side shift, because a little less value. We already have 2 GSRs for the white cars, and the cost of them is just, we couldn't pass up a deal we got on the side shifts, and it's a lot more just financially realistic in a car like this. So we modded the tunnel for that stuff. As you may have followed on social media, I had gone through and repainted this last winter. We have the Brick House S15 dash. Obviously, like I said, this one's on Haltech, but this car will also be going to a Link Fury. So pretty much any 14 you're gonna see us in next year, the Z, the 13, all the cars we have will be on Link. Yeah, we actually had a radio in this one. I have a Bluetooth module with a 4-channel amp and just some speakers under the dash. So everyone was always laughing like, damn, Mike, you're always in the car bumping. And yeah, man, I just keep the music turned up, stay out of my head. Luckily, the system is not like a crazy system, so as soon as I leave the start line, I can't hear music. It's just, yeah! And as soon as I get to the finish line, all I hear is music. So it's a good vibe to have, keeps your mind clear, just lets your body react to the moments. And yeah, I said it once, say it before, I was bumping Dolph all year last year. So RP Dolph, that breaks my heart in all more ways than one, but that's what we were hitting on track. That's what you saw me head bobbing to. So this car, again, I said we will get this with a motor at the machine shop. It's at high compression, 1.5J. So this one will stay the way it is, get cleaned up. Some things will get
fine tune like those aluminum wastegate lines. We'll do those in steel. We had a failure there at the end of the year. Go through just any little bits that we had issues with, which really wasn't many. Clean a few things up, and this car will just await the new motor. And when that new motor comes, we'll be able to throw it all back in, and this thing will be running again. Hopefully before these girls, but the way time is structured and priorities, the white cars are a priority. And with timelines, machine shops, and parts right now in the world, as you know, we might end up getting stuck on some parts we need for this. So time will tell here in the next coming months and weeks, but promising here, I'd say end of February, one, if not both of these should be close. 350Z should be close. The coupe should hopefully be done in January, that's the plan. And then I think, there's a first event comes up at the end of March. So, if you follow us, Clutch Kickers was big for us in the past 2 years. Our main focus this year is really going to be in Pro Spec. We put a lot of money, time, effort, commitment to trying to get there over these years, and you may have been following, and I know if you've been following me for all these years, I appreciate you, and you know that I've said it before, we're doing it this year, it's coming, and I'm going to sign the contract, and I got it all ready to go. But for us, it's money, and we've all put everything we have into this, and at times it's not enough, and there's no one to ask for something from, and there's no one to beg for, because we know very well this is a privilege. It's a blessing to be able to have this kind of fun, to have the freedom to do this stuff, and there's many people that don't get to, or not even near the level that we're at. So there's no complaining, it's just keep moving forward, keep focusing. If it doesn't happen, like it didn't happen last year, it was supposed to happen in 2020, and then COVID hit. Last year we were wanting to, but kind of all the builds got dropped on my plate. This time last year, I was literally moving all this stuff into this new facility from Vegas. So there's a lot going on in that off season, as well as building that gold car from scratch back. So the time and just the money was not there to put an effort into Pro Spec and FD, but thankfully Clutch Kickers was kind of there, and it was a little more feasible with our timelines and just what we had to come with. But yeah, our main focus in 2022 is going to be Pro Spec, and obviously because when there's money on the line and there's competitions out there, we want to be there, and we get pretty furious when we're not. So you can pretty much be safe to say that you will see us at Clutch Kickers as well. I don't know what car, because I don't know logistically where we're going to be in the country, because I think it's going to be like Clutch Kickers, and then I'd have to go to New Jersey for an FD round, and then back to Clutch Kickers, and then so there's a lot of logistics. And if you haven't been following, Clutch Kickers moved deeper into Florida. So where our drive was 24 hours last year and the year before that, this would add another 9 hours onto our drive, so that we go over the 30-hour mark, and that's bad math. So yeah, logistically, we're thinking we might have to figure out some means of keeping a car in Florida or something, because that is a lot to do. And we have obviously the stacker with the FD cars, and then I have my other truck. Have to figure out a lot of the logistics, but if there's a comp, we're trying. So we don't have all these partners. It's everyone talks about sponsorships, and the sponsors aren't what people think they are. So we are us. We're funded by us. We're doing this. We're able to do this because of us. We're not on like the hinge with anybody. Pay for the parts we got, and we're always on board to work with people and around other people. It's just in essence of a lot of the time in this day and age, it's internet, it's followers, it's a lot of things that our time has been focused elsewhere on just what you can see here, which is doing it, like getting it done, having the stuff. And I don't, me being the one guy here, usually between the morning and 5 o'clock, because Dave won't get off till 5, and he might be tired after work. So in essence, a lot of this stuff, it takes all of us to make it happen, you know. It takes, you know, Danny behind the camera. It takes Matt hustling his ass off to be able to, you know, get the parts. It takes me with the time to be able to logistically go and move and transfer things and put these cars together. And Dave, and with the facility, like, each one of us has brought something to the table that is, you know, you couldn't put a cost on, and if you did, that's why you just see a lot of people and they just, you know, they might be alone and things don't work out, and it's because a lot of that stuff becomes a money thing. And with us, it's not really about money, you know, like, I'm not asking for anything. Nobody's asking anybody for anything. We're all just sharing that same common vision of what we think this should be, what drifting should be, what a program should be, the essence of what it should be as far as why we got into it. And yeah, so there's just, you know, the stress around here is what you see. Gotta get cars done. You know, cars aren't running, so they gotta get done. And beyond that, we just do what we can with what we got. And we've come a long way, and we've got a lot of shit going on. So I'm, you know, it might not be Adam LZ, you know, I might not be your favorite YouTuber, but I should be when I start, because I'm probably the most like you and the most like your friends. And if y'all take anything from my channel and what you're gonna start seeing, it's that focus more on your friends, straight up. Because, you know, family first always, but what people don't get, or what you might get later or too late, is your family can take you so far, but at the end of the day, your family's gonna age, and your family will pass before your friends, God forbid, right? And I can't do this without my friends and my family, both of them. So I just say it to, like, I preach to everybody. Like, people like to say, you know, the car community is toxic and this and that. And you know what? There's a lot of truth in that, in the sense of, like, I probably had almost a decade of my time in drifting wasted by bad business ethics, other companies I worked for that ran their shops to the ground, or business partners that didn't have the same passions. Like, it takes an alignment of passion and heart and commitment, and when you have that and you don't have doubts within each other, like, why is this person doing this for me, or why is he doing that for me, or why can't I? There's no whys around us. It's like, you have a question, you ask, yo, hey, I want to drive Grid Life. Okay, cool, that's in a week. All right, boom, we make sure there's a car ready for someone to drive Grid Life. You know, the prerogative is, everyone, we all know, we've been focused on competition. So when competitions come and they're heavy, yes, Matt can drive, Dave can drive. If you've been at events, and we've all been there, you've probably seen me standing watching, and you've been watching, and you've been like, damn, look at him, look at Mike, there go Mike. And then you look at me, and I'm like, that's not me. And you're like, wait, who that? One of the three, because we can all drive, you know, there's no slack on talent. The issue is, I think, comfort and seat time. So within our circle, the consensus is that I'm the best bet to win competitions. You know, Matt's the best bet to hustle to make sure we can have cool shit. Dave's the best bet to hustle to make sure we got a place to do the cool shit. And the essence is, we can build this to a point where all we want to do is have fun with each other, like, straight up. So I know a lot of you guys have asked around different people when you get confused about what might I have. He's always like, that's not mine, that's not mine. And yeah, I know my black car is at a completely different shop an hour away from here on jack stands. So let's just say that, you know, you do what you want to do. I help you out, you help me out. What you need. I might get a phone call, be like, yo, Mike, you need to get on a plane. I need you to fly out here in an hour. I'll be like, okay. That's the price I pay. You know, I don't have luxury shit. I may not have all the nice things, but I got a group of friends I don't have to doubt. I have the passion, the thing I love to do, that I'm able to do with those friends. And essentially, as long as I can get all these cars done, all three of us are gonna be able to drive together and put out sick content for you. Content that doesn't involve any risk of, what if I hit his car? What if I hit his car? Because guess what, they're our cars. So we're hitting each other. And then when something happens, we all fix it. So there's, you know, that's where some real chemistry and fun will come, because we on the same page. Y'all want to see doors, we're here to bring you doors in due time. I don't know where to go with that after that. I just walk around here sometimes, it's cold, it's getting cold, and then when it's cold, you know, it's not easy to work. So we got this heater over here, you know, not the best thing. Got a little heater. You know, it's not good for you because I'm probably breathing in a whole bunch of sulfur and shit and fumes. But you know, I like to think I got some brain cells to waste. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoy what you're seeing, and I hope you enjoy what's about to come. And if you're not following already, you should follow, subscribe. And I don't know what the fuck they're gonna tell you to do, like hit some other button that like gets you the updates. But I'm not like that, so anytime I do the computer shit, I gotta do it like a robot because this shit's freaking weird. You guys want me to talk to you like you're not even here. I would rather you be here. Come on over. Show you around, you know? So this is Opposition Racing. That's the fiberglass shell. Then the tires, parts, cars, and whole bunch more to come. Can't wait to show you. Motherfuckers. Damn it, I don't know, man.